So here's the story that nobody's telling you why the Trump tariffs are a terrible idea. Here, let me show you. So the story we hear is that if United States puts an import tariff over the goods of other countries, it's going to be good for United States and bad for the other country. And the other country must retaliate so that it doesn't get the worst in the deal. But that doesn't tell you the whole story, because it ignores the individuals within the country who are the ones who are actually doing the trade. Let me show you a fictitious situation. So this is not happening for real, but pretend it's happening. Let's say United States put an 104% tariff and China doesn't put any tariff at all. So in this scenario, you might think it's going to be good for United States, but that ignores some facts. Let's take a look at the other side. Let's consider the people. So in the United States, the suppliers in this situation where you have an 104% tariff over goods on China are gonna be happy. They're gonna get more money. The suppliers in China are not gonna be happy because they're not gonna be able to sell the same products to American customers. But then what's gonna happen? The American customer is going to have to pay a higher price for the same goods. So he's not gonna be happy. He's gonna be making less money, and this guy is not gonna be selling here anymore. So the American customer is gonna have to pay more money to this supplier over here in the United States. And what is the other story that no one is telling you about? And this is what Frederick Bastiat said in The Seen and the Unseen. What is not seen is that there is another person here, and he's an invisible supplier. Why? Because if the customer has to pay extra on, like, let's say this is a car, he has to pay more money for a car, he's not gonna have money to buy a shoe. And let's say this is a Nike shoe. This supplier, which would have sold a shoe to this customer, is not gonna exist anymore if we have a tariff. Therefore, we have an unhappy customer and then another unhappy supplier, which doesn't even exist because he's not there anymore. So the economy slows down, there's less people doing business in general. And remember, all that we have done is increase the tariff in the United States. So even if we only increase import tariffs in the United States, Americans are worse off. There's only one American who's happy, which is the supplier, but there's a whole other supply chain of customers and other suppliers who cease to exist who are unhappy. Therefore, the tariff over imported goods is always and everywhere a bad idea. And this is not about making one country better off than the other. Everybody's worse off with these tariffs.